Hi everyone, we're here today in the Hello Studio and we're joined by Clémence Von Mueffling, which is a lovely name to say, Clémence. And we're here to celebrate the launch of her new book, Ageless Beauty. Look at this cover, it's really, really beautiful. And as you can tell, this is a beauty Bible in some senses. And we're going to tap into some of the generations of knowledge and advice that you have from your kind of experience in the beauty industry. So let's start with this, because your sort of history in the beauty industry, it's not just your own experience, but it's actually in your blood, isn't it? It's in your sort of family and family friends.
Absolutely. This book was a lifetime in the making. Both my mother and grandmother were beauty editors at French Vogue. So I can say that I was learning the ultimate beauty advice while I practiced my ABCs. And we worked together to create that book, so that we could really create a book for all women of all ages, from being a teenager to becoming a grandmother.
I love the shot of the three of you that you might have seen on your social media pages and that was sent to me, where it's just the three generations together. Really lovely, timeless beauty. And so you started at a very young age. What are your kind of fondest, youngest memories of beauty that I think a lot of little girls particularly might have?
Absolutely. Going to French Vogue offices in Paris, Place du Palais Bourbon, which is a beautiful location in Paris, and looking at all the beauty editors. My mother was one of them. They were all so chic, also elegant. It always smelled incredibly beautiful in those offices because they would always try the new perfumes. And they always had on their desks all those beauty products. And sometimes I would be allowed to just, have a look and play with them. But growing up also, I got used to all these beauty products, and my mother, when I was 13, sent me to a summer camp in the US, and I had all of these creams and like stretch mark creams. I had a Estee Lauder perfume that smelled very strong, and when I arrived there, I remember the look on the faces of the other teenage girls there. They really look horrified. So I put all my products away and I didn't touch them until I came back home.
It's such a luxury introduction to the world of beauty, because a lot of people, when they first dabble, might be experimenting with sort of, high street brands or the things that you're given for Christmas or birthdays and that sort of thing. So to be introduced to, in such a luxurious way, I can just imagine that all those smells and all the packaging, it must bring back really nice memories for you.
Absolutely. Even at a young age, my grandmother would tell me, come and have dinner on Sunday with mascara.
Yes, I was going to ask you about this, because how old were you when that sort of precedent was set?
I would say I was maybe 15 by then, so still definitely quite young. But she would say that because she taught me that self-care was about self-confidence at that age. It was not about vanity, but really just feeling more self-confident. Yeah.
And yes, for her to really encourage that in you, but to keep it very positive, is a really lovely thing. And you're a mother yourself, aren't you?
I am. Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 8 years old.
And so she must be in heaven with the sorts of things that you have on your dressing table. But how do you positively interact with her about beauty, rather than making it, as you said, sort of a question of vanity, or inviting criticism from some people who think it's not something you want to introduce young girls to?
Absolutely. She's learning that it has to stay very natural, that nothing has to be overdone. And obviously at her age, it's more about, playing with some of the things that I have in my bathroom. So it's more about having fun. And I think as her mother, I have always to be the one giving her the example. So I try to myself not overdo it and share that with her.
And you look very natural and very beautiful today. This is a fact of my job. I'm surrounded by people that just look like this. So when do you feel most comfortable, as you said, not overdoing it with makeup? What's your sort of preferred look?
Definitely a feminine look, but not overdone. I like to feel that my skin is just very clean, very hydrated for sure, so very glowy. I like to do my own little face massage that I feel activates, you know, the circulation and awakens complexion. So I kind of like that. A little mascara that I learned from my grandmother. I always do that. But yes, just keeping it simple. But there is a little bit of work behind, you know, and I think French women usually don't like to share so much their secrets, but it's sort of that effortless look, but it's not totally effortless.
And you talk a lot in the book about the sort of the French way, and which I think most of us do associate with elegance and sophistication. What does it mean to you, and what do you think we can learn from it when it comes to beauty?
I feel that French women don't seek perfection. The idea is not to look younger, but to look good for your age and to age gracefully. What I have learned is that you have to learn to enhance your best features, do the most with what you were born with, and yes, and really have this idea of aging gracefully.
Yes, so rather than sometimes if you're introduced at a young age to beauty and beauty standards and you're exposed to it constantly, there are sometimes when that can create insecurities. But it really felt to me like when I was reading through the book that this was about, as you said, sort of you, celebrating you and enhancing and feeling good about yourself.
Absolutely. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. And with this book, we're trying to share all of these achievable and practical beauty tips, very accessible. Actually, most of the advice in this book are things that are totally free, that can just help us become the best version of ourselves.
And it really is. It is useful and it is informative, and it's broken down into 5 key sections. And you did hint a minute ago about, you know, perhaps doing a little facial massage, and that kind of leads us nicely into the first section, which is about the face and about the skin, and it's about rituals. Yes. And I thought the use of that word was really interesting. So what would we expect, in the first chapter about rituals?
Yes, so those beauty rituals are key if you want your skin to go from good skin to great skin. Those rituals are to double cleanse, which is one of the key things. To be honest, I used to always cleanse well my face, but since I interviewed all of the experts for the book, I now double cleanse, and I can see that my skin is much more dewy, much more radiant, and much more really has a great glow. Doing a little face massage regularly. If you're young, maybe just once in a while, but the older you get, the more you can add it to your routine. This is a very natural way to activate the collagen, to prevent the skin from sagging. And all of these things are just very natural ways and easy things you can add to your beauty routine. These are your rituals. They're great beauty rituals.
And I think that's what struck me, because we're not, you say you interviewed a lot of the experts here and you are an expert yourself, but we're not talking about people that are using additional resources to us. They're using time and well-practiced techniques to take their skin from the next level. Because it's very tempting, isn't it, when we see the celebrities or members of the royal family, for example, to think they're doing something that I don't have access to. But was it your hope with the book to kind of break that down and say what can be done achievably in your own home?
Absolutely. That was the very first thing we wanted to do. We wanted to do a positive book, a book for all women with achievable and practical tips, and really to share all of those French beauty secrets, not only from the research that we've done, not only from our experience, because in this book we don't address fads. It's all tried and true beauty tips, some that have worked for generations and some newer ones based on scientific research.
Because I think that's the overwhelming thing, isn't it? That there's so much conflicting advice out there, and there is a new trend every second. So you've decided to base this very much in what has worked for generations to have passed, and kind of the things that are based in research now. Is that right?
Absolutely. And things that I can see have worked, looking at my mother today as a you know, she was a beauty editor, and my grandmother as well. I can see all those things that have worked.
Yes, you have to see that photograph. I feel like it just sums everything up really perfectly. So the first section we've got is on the rituals. And what are some of the other sections in the book?
So we also give all the advice for the body. So we have hair. We have how to do your makeup also at any age, because the way you'll put your makeup when you're 20 or you're 60 years old is different. Yes. And for your body, everything that you can do to take care of your legs. Women very often are very concerned with appearance of veins or cellulite. Your feet as well. All those little easy things that you can do at home to keep beautiful feet today and in 30 years from today. Your hands as well. So
those details, isn't it? When someone looks polished or looks put together, I think it is often not just the big statement things like the outfit or the hair, but those little details that they have taken care over.
Yes, absolutely. And it's this, I think it's this is what can help you have this effortless sort of look. But there is actually a little bit of work for that.
Yeah. Preparation.
Yes.
Actually, I have to ask about hair because again, in celebrity world, it's just I wish I could wake up with hair like that. What is perhaps maybe one tip or secret you can give about healthy looking hair, because it makes such a difference to your overall appearance and the way you carry yourself, actually, I think, on a good hair day?
Absolutely. What I have learned is that we never rinse enough. I have interviewed multiple experts, and they all say, if you don't rinse, no shine. That's one of the experts. That's what he says. So this is very important. Also, one of the things I didn't know is that your hair is never as fragile as when it's wet. And this is when you shouldn't actually overbrush or try to dry your hair with a towel. When it's wet, it's actually going to really damage your hair. So there are just all of these little things that we can add every day and that don't cost anything.
So do you think is that to say it's best to let it dry naturally? Is that the general advice, or just to not attack it when it's wet?
Not attack it when it's wet, exactly.
That's so interesting. See, it's just those little secrets that actually help pull together, as you said, someone who's more prepared and has therefore less to add or less to cover up, because it's not about that.
Absolutely.
How was the process of writing the book, and particularly involving your own family members?
It was wonderful. It was really amazing for me to work with both my mother and my grandmother. They had so much to say, and I feel that what's wonderful is that they give us also an idea of how to take care of ourselves, in 20 years, in 40 years, in 50 years from now. And that I feel is a great plus in this book.
And what are some of the lifestyle factors that come up time and time again when it comes to looking after yourself and looking after your skin in particular?
So it's true that skin is one, it's probably a third of the book. And, taking care of your skin is key. You have to treat your skin like your favorite silk blouse. So this is something I really like to say, because we often forget about that, and we do so many harsh treatments. But we have to be very gentle. The key word is really to be gentle. So we have to treat our skin, avoid harsh treatments, and take great care of our skin. Double cleansing is wonderful. Face massage is really one of the French best kept secrets. It's like taking your face to the gym. So this is really something that I would recommend as well. And in the book, I teach the whole technique on how to do your own face massage at home.
That's so interesting, because I can only imagine. I would start randomly prodding my face, but to know how to do it properly.
Yes, you really have the whole drainage, everything to do for the eye, and it's very easy. You only need a few drops of a face oil or a little bit of a face cream.
What a nice thing to do for yourself as well.
Absolutely. It's very relaxing. You can do that in the evening. It's a great way to finish the day in a way.
So among some of the myths or confusions, I think one that's quite high up on everyone's list is the link between price and quality of products, because it is, you want to get the best possible thing for your skin and your face, but it's, you know, it is an investment. So where do you stand on that?
I agree. I think there is so much also on the market right now. In a way, we are very lucky that there is so much choice, because you can get some really wonderful creams, some really wonderful face cleansers at very affordable prices. For me, I splurge on two things. I splurge on the quality of cotton that I use for my face. I like to use really good quality cotton because you want it to be really soft on your skin, and also on the hairbrush, because it is, you really want something that doesn't break the hair. So these are the two items I would really splurge on. The rest, I feel that we have incredible choice, even for makeup today. We are so lucky. My grandmother, while she was a beauty editor, she modeled for Irving Penn. And she tells me about those days when she had to model and she had those photo shoots and she had to put on her makeup. And the makeup, you have to think, in the 50s was very different. It was very limited. She had to put a lot and it looked like, you know, and it would melt under the heat and the lights. And she says that today she's 88 and she's enjoying so much. She loves to go to department stores and try those very light foundations. And yes, I think we're very lucky right now.
That's so lovely. She still looks forward to it and still sees it as a treat.
Oh, absolutely. My mother still today as well. She calls me and she says, oh, I've just tried this new treatment, totally non-invasive, fantastic. Or every time there is a new perfume, her specialty was writing about perfumes. And every time there was a new perfume, she would call me and say, oh, I just tried this in a department store. And yes, they're still very, very involved.
So I want to end with by talking about your relationship with beauty. And I think it clearly is that. It's not frivolous. It's a really long-held and deep relationship that you have and that your family has had. And you've mentioned, you know, that it's not about vanity, but how do you feel about it? And do you have the best job in the world?
So I feel that we talked a lot about that with my mother and my grandmother while we wrote the book. And that self-care, which is about self-confidence, especially at our age. But they're saying that at their age, it's also about showing a positive image of the passage of time to younger generations. And I think that when you look at it in that way, it is so interesting, and so it makes so much sense. This is when you see that it's not about vanity, it's really about something that is very positive. It carries something that is very positive. And I totally agree that now also myself having a daughter, and I can see, you know, in a few years from now, that's the positive image I want to give as well.
A journey to go on as well.
Yes.
Well, brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. Ageless Beauty is out now. And where else can people follow you if they want to, you know, be abreast of the latest secrets?
On Instagram, Beauty and WB, which is the online magazine I have, Beauty and Wellbeing, but also on Facebook, Beauty and Wellbeing, and Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll all be doing our facial massages later.
Thank you.